Hi, folks. My name is Girish, Bali, the host for Back to Basics, another Back to Basics for another week. Today, I'm going to be talking about digital world, meta world, metaverse. I mean, those are the words that we're using nowadays. And we're talking about how we're changing over from a human connection all the way down to the digital world. Is it saving us? Is it making us worse? Or is it helping us? So we're going to talk about that today on this episode. And Thomas is a person that I actually was on his podcast a few weeks back, or I should say a month back, and an amazing person. And then I'll find out when that's going to be released after when the show is over, and I'll put that in my show notes. But let's go and talk to Thomas, and let's talk about the digital world that we're going to get into. Thomas, how are you? And thanks for coming to Back to Basics.
You know what? I lead with this a bunch, that AI is easy, but that AV thing is hard. I mean, it's really hard to get the audio video to work. I'm doing well. You said I'm a really cool, what was the description for me? No one's ever said that before. I just wanted to hear you say it again.
No, you're a cool person for sure.
Oh, thank you. Tell my kids that, so you could write that down.
I'll say it again if I have to, and then I'll record it and send it to you.
I appreciate that.
So before we get into the coolness and the topic for the episode today, what does Back to Basic mean to you, Thomas?
I mean, for me, it's just doing the core things needed to be honestly happy in life, to sustain a career, to give attention to your family. It's not overcomplicating every step of your life with every possible scenario. Like, it's just do what you need to do, be happy with it, and be kind of grateful that and maybe lower your expectations of what you should or do in life, and just enjoy where you are in that moment.
Yeah,
either good or bad.
I asked you the question when we were booking this call today, and I asked, "What does Back to Basic mean to you?" And you said it means everything.
Yeah.
So I think that's correct what you're saying, right? I mean, it's all about life and business and whatever you're doing.
I may have answered the wrong question there on your form. I think I meant what do you want to talk about? And sometimes I get confused. I don't read, which is interesting. It's great.
No, that's what he said. You're good.
It does mean everything to me, because when things get too complicated, you get flustered, right? And you kind of it tends to raise your kind of your annoyance and your anger factors of life, and things that probably shouldn't set you off do. And so if you just keep, what does I need to do right now, and how do I enjoy it the best I can? That really just improves the just the wellness of yourself. So that is kind of everything, right? Because if you're not happy, then it's not a good state to be in.
Of course. Thomas, thanks for coming to the show. So this digital world that we're living in, are we prepared, first of all, or are we still learning? What are your thoughts on that?
I think a little both. I think we don't know we never know what's to come. So there's going to be something that's going to make us feel like we're unprepared. Therefore, we'll continue to learn. If you're not learning, you're definitely going to not be prepared. I'll say it that. You have to be able to, in especially digital world, have the ability to kind of pivot quickly, understand how you're leveraging technology in your life, from business to personal relationships and beyond. But yeah, people are still learning. We're humans. That's the cool thing about us as humans, that we are always learning. Those who struggle though in this digital world are likely not, I'd say, or it's just become too much, and maybe getting back to basics is probably the better way for them to go, instead of complicating their lives more with technology and other things.
But do you think that we're just getting into the digital world really quickly? And
no,
are we just catching up? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think we're going to look back 20 years from now and go, we were moving so slowly then, and I think that's a scary piece. Is technology has shown us anything, it's how fast it comes and how fast it can change, just because of the nature of it. It'll be interesting what basics means 20 years from now, or even 10 years from now, with that, like the basics to live and kind of be, how much technology is involved in that, as opposed to maybe 20 years ago. But no, I think we are going to look back and say, man, my kids ask me sometimes, did we have color TV when I was a kid? I'm like, are you kidding me? We had Nintendo. I mean,
that's right.
Of course. And so like the perspective, right, is like, oh, you're so old. And then my parents, I thought the same thing. And, anyway, but no, I think we're right on track to be where we need to be. And it'll go much, much faster. I think this will create a polarizing event though, of people who really don't want to do anything with technology and will do everything possible to get away from it. But, and then those who will just be all in on it, and it'll create combs, So imagine that, the world polarized, right?
Yeah, that's true. But let me ask you this: the digital world that I'm talking about, is that the same thing as metaverse?
It's part of it, right? Metaverse will become a place where that you can exist and be and have a whole different persona in life, and that's a the first step toward the matrix, maybe.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but that's one piece. Not everyone's going to dive in on that way, unless you have the ability to do it without a big thing on your face, right? Because
Hmm.
it's just not practical to be around other humans and have a VR set on your face and be in both worlds. It'll be a place to escape from. It'll be a place to kind of interact. I believe it'll be really big for events, concerts, sporting. I mean, imagine being able to sit anywhere to watch a football game or a basketball game and sitting along with your friends that are all distributed around the world. And that is all delivered through a metaverse. So I think that's part of the equation. I think everything from that to IoT to, whatever, just how the current internet's used will be all part of that.
Yeah,
It's going to be all connected, say it that way.
but Thomas, all the concerts and all the games that I've gone to, right? It's more of an experience that I like. Go there to have food and listening to other people, listening to the music, loud
Mhm.
noise, people burping. You know what I mean? On the metaverse, I mean, it's not going to be real, so I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it or not enjoy it, or maybe I'm just an old fogey. So what are your thoughts on that?
I don't think you're an old fogey. We can discuss that if you'd like. You have a podcast, so that puts you in a class of non old fogey, probably.
No,
Just
there
just
you
meta,
go.
just by
Thank.
data.
Oh, so
You
you're
take that
cool
on
and I'm cool. Is that what we're saying?
self-serving answers. Love it. Um, yeah, I will say that it'll be a different experience. So doing it live and in person, if maybe the pandemic showed us anything, if you could still enjoy sports in the midst of all that, that's a game changer. If
Mm,
there's something you wanted to see in South Korea, there's no way you possibly could have justified the expense and you at least get that experience of seeing something there or some other part of the world, a World Cup match. Awesome. If you can go live, you'll go do that. And sometimes it's not even being at the event; it's about just being away from what you do every day.
mm.
Uh, I will say that my experience with the VR and I have one of the headsets is that it does a really good job making you feel like you're somewhere else and transcending you to some other place. So I think that technology only improves and will give you truly an escape. Uh,
But
but
Thomas,
being in person is different for sure. And you have
a couple of years
value.
back, maybe 5 years back, I was having that VR headset on the PlayStation, and I was playing a game with my son. Honestly speaking, I was getting a headache.
Yeah.
So it
Mhm.
seems like maybe I'm just not adjusting well, or people will start complaining that my eyes are going bad. So I mean, there's advantage and disadvantage at the same time. So what are your thoughts on that part?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a great part. I was literally last night at 8 p.m. having this discussion with a company. Um, the name of them, they're Vrium, and they're creating a whole experience and park around like a theme park, basically around VR and robotics and other stuff. And one of the challenges they need to overcome that most people don't realize is that the frame rates are high enough on these VR machinery that your eyes don't suffer because it's taking forever from frame to frame. And your eyes subtly pick it up.
Hmm.
Now the frame rates are 120 hertz, even higher in some cases. You don't notice. It doesn't make you as nauseous. It doesn't make you as eyes tired. You can be in it much longer because of how the technology is advanced. Now, 5 years ago, I absolutely hated it because it was just like choppy and it hurt. And made you kind of disoriented. The new ones are very smooth. They're as good as full HD. No,
Hmm.
no tearing on the experience of the image. It helps significantly. Now, do you want to bury yourself in there? When you get out of it, it looks like you've been on a bender all weekend and you're kind of like your
Hmm.
face is all red. But I don't have the headache like you described. That was maybe the technology a few years ago. Technology's come plenty far where that experience is
Hmm.
completely transformed, and it's only going to get better in it.
So is it more improved, or is there something that I need to read saying that this is the improved version?
Yeah, no, the technology across the spectrum has improved. They're better versions than others. But if you can get one, the Oculus 2, for example, you can put in 120 hertz frame mode, and that's 120 refreshes per second. And that really helps your eyes interpret the images. And when you're on lower refresh rates, like 30 or lower, it kind of hurts.
So
And how
are
they do the lighting in it and all that helps now
so
too.
are
So
we saying that I can buy another VR set for my PlayStation to get a better fresh rate?
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
they
And
can.
the new ones, an Oculus specifically, like, and there's other ones, but they're completely self-serving things. So there's no wires attached to them. I can walk around
Right,
and you can,
right.
and that's great. The ones that you hook into high-end GPUs are even more powerful, and the higher refresh rates, the lights are used in the actual thing. They've addressed those problems. And if it still hurts your eyes, you just might need a different glasses or something else or
Yeah.
something that does it. But I had the same challenge, and that's certainly gone away in the newer versions.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you again, Thomas, for that. And I was talking to someone a couple of months back, and eventually we're going to be recording soon, also. But VR is helping more on the healthcare side of things.
Mm.
Also, it looks like they're helping more on the autism side of things. They have also helped out from the eye operation side of things. People who are, uh, you know, uh, seeing cross-eyed, they're correcting that to make it straight. So it's kind of helping us in certain way. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's amazing. The ability, though, even just to collaborate as a doctor, let's say, in real time on something through very detailed, with data and all the things that can come with it is amazing. With the patients and autism, and you said, like, just correcting vision challenges, amazing use case. I wasn't aware of that was being done, but that's fantastic. That's the right use for technologies when you're enabling it, and especially, let's say, remote areas or remote patient care and things like this, where you could ship them a headset and be like, hey, let's go through what you have here and let's look at some things. Or
And let's collect the data. Yep.
yeah, actually collect it in. Here's what we could do, and that's where the technology kind of transcends in a positive way. Fantastic use case, though. I mean, I'm sure there's hundreds others or thousands others, but this is where I think, back to the original piece, I think technology is incredibly accelerating, and we're just, there's gonna be a lot of failures, and that's going to happen, but there's gonna be a lot of successes and a lot of breakthroughs to just take this whole digital motion to a whole new level.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again, Thomas, for explaining that. So tell me about yourself, if you don't mind, and what do you do, and what does your company do? So let's talk about that a little.
Yeah, so I founded a company called instarel.ai, where we focus on kind of one main problem, which is in this digital world, it takes forever and a lot of effort and a lot of time to create content, to engage with it, and to continually improve the strategy of what you should create and how you should engage with it. I was finding, before I'd started the company in 2020, that I was spending like 30 hours a week in social media trying to write content, then post it, and then engage with it, meaning like comment back, go find others might be interested, engage in their posts, just being online. And initially I'd focused on social media, LinkedIn specifically, and then that was spending an incredible amount of time just in that one platform. And so I was like, there has to be a better way. And my expertise is, is intelligent automation expert, where you're automating business process for the intent of accelerating the human at the other end of it. So you automate as much as you can, you grab the right technology at the right moment, you grab a human when you need to, and you move the processes to execute faster. And I looked at content creation and engagement and the whole strategy behind it as something that was just ripe for this kind of intelligent automation play. And so what I did was I started using AI writing to kind of create content, found that, well, that's not enough. You still need a human in the loop to kind of finish it. And then now that you have a ton of content, oh, wow, how do you, consistently post it, which there's a ton of technologies for automation for that. But then when you post it, you got to engage with it. Oh, wow. So how do we do that? And so you need, some automation on that side, but also some people involved. And then what's the whole point of that whole thing? Well, I want more revenue. I want more sales opportunities. I want to grow a following so I can establish my personal and business brand. That takes time. And next thing you know, you're 30 so hours a week. And I was like, if I can automate the hard, long parts of these things and outsource and build a team around, let's say, other parts and components, and leverage technology as technology advances, I think I can get out of social media every week. And I did. So in a year, I grew to over 165,000 followers on LinkedIn. I have basically somebody in my social media working my accounts nearly 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on all social media platforms. I'm down to 1 hour a week basically in social media now. And I produce articles for Forbes, Entrepreneur, AI Journal, Swiss Cognitive, a handful of other places, hundreds of posts. And the whole idea is to network back on Calendly, right? And my call to action is come meet me, basically, and come on the YouTube channel, or talk to me about intelligent automation, or talk to me about content creation. And I did this through instarel. So this company provides these services to a number of startups in marketing, or people who are looking to really scale marketing without spending fortunes on cost per click. We just do it. We do it as kind of a fixed cost asset building approach that takes the content creation, we engage with it, we do the outbound, we do all the things you needed to kind of drive attention and revenue opportunities. And it all starts with your goal and a strategy that we continually improve.
So you found a broken gap, because it seems like not a lot of people are doing this, or are they?
They're doing components. So if you think of this as a Venn diagram, if I was cooler, I would transition to that right now, but I'm not. Is that a lot of people have a lot of content and terrible engagement, and it leaves them in no strategy, and it leaves them kind of nowhere. And you have a lot of people with really good content, really good strategy, but have no engagement, and so it leaves them nowhere. Or they have absolutely no content, great engagement, and a really good strategy, but it's not enough to get the produced results. You need all three in balance. What I found was there's components being done on one or the other, but there's nothing elegantly solutioning that together to deliver the effect you need. At the end of the day, it's about sales opportunities. At the end of the day, it's about creating even a follower or review. It translates some type of revenue opportunity for that individual or business. And to do that, you need to balance all three of those: tons of content, tons of strategy, tons of engagement, and it has to come together, because you can't have one out of balance or the other, or it becomes ineffective. And we're just creating that. We've created a platform to kind of deliver that.
Yeah. And what is the name of the platform again? That if people they want to contact you, and
instarel.ai, no, instarel.ai, and means instantly relevant. And the idea is that you could become relevant a lot faster online by doing these pieces, and in particular leveraging our company for it. And we take the approach of, we fill the gap in for individuals or companies. So some companies have a social media manager that's doing the posting or doing some content creation or whatever else. We'll fill the gaps in around them for different types of content, higher engagement, or a strategy component. Others have a whole strategy, and they have marketing and they have content creation, but what they don't have is a high volume amount of posts because they take too long and they're too expensive to write. We'll do that. Some people have no strategy, but they can do the other two. We just do that piece. So we fill the gap to enable the outcome, which is creating revenue opportunities.
Nice. Thank you so much for that. And I think you also have a podcast too. And I think I was in it.
You were. Well, I focus on the YouTube side. There is a podcast attached to it. I will tell you, I don't take enough time to. I rip an audio file and dump that. The YouTube channel for AI Nerd is a focus of interviewing just interesting people. Generally, it's technology focused, or people that are leveraging technology in their business. It ranges from CEOs of startups and the sports figures to other people. It's more fun based. It's called AI Nerd, AI with attitude. So I tend to do a bit of humor throughout it, ask random questions, and but get to the point to allow people to talk about what they're doing, what problem they're solving for, and make it fun and somewhat informative and entertaining. Hopefully people don't fall asleep too fast through it, because the fun questions come to the end.
Yeah, I actually fell asleep in the middle of that interview, didn't I?
Right. I was on a binge talking about something. You just nodded off, and it's okay.
Yeah,
I didn't edit that part out.
You didn't.
You asked the question when yours is coming out. I don't know.
Yeah, well, we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out later. That's no big deal.
It's
but whenever that is, they'll be in the show notes. So whatever.
It's coming out.
It's coming out whenever it's coming out. So, red pill or green pill or blue pill?
I think it's a blue one. I'm gonna go purple. I'm gonna mix them together and I like to party. So I think I go right into Matrix for superpower a little bit. I think it'd be fine to rock in there for a little bit. That's the metaverse, right? Occasionally come out, when it gets a little too intense.
Yeah.
Now that at the time, there's no doubt you go, I think red pill.
Okay.
Red pill in? I don't even know. I say we put them in together and just like, I think that's the ADD pill. You're balancing.
Actually, I want to take both and see what happens.
Right. The purple pill, the red and the blue, and you put in a little water, maybe a little, put a little vitamin C in there. You might need to protect yourself, and have at it. Let's just, balance between both. So
let me ask you this. The movie Back to the Future, the movie Matrix, and the movie Real One Player. How realistic is this?
Ready Player One is super realistic, except for all the explosions. I think if at that point, if the world looks so disenchanted and blowing up, and there's like, it's so that, whatever. But I think Back to the Future, no, not going to happen. What was the second one? Oh, Matrix. We're already there. We just haven't realized it. And by the way, think about that. I was just diving into the Matrix. Let's have a little fun with that. If you were to make a video game, which they make the world and the massive online or the massive open world infinite. Describes our universe currently. Let's think about that, right? Now let's just leave. This is more humor-based. All the faith-based people don't start throwing things at me. But the point is, if you were going to design a human simulation type of game, you would make it where the little terrariums all around the planets, all around the world, and all around the universe are just self-sustaining. You can't go too far. Never. It's a perfect video game. Or maybe we're just modeling our video games after what we see. I don't know, but I feel like maybe if you look at it, I don't know. I think there's a lot of similarities in everything in the world and everything in the universe that we just might be in the universe. We might be in the matrix itself. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. I might just unplug mine at the back, right? Is that how the matrix?
I'm not sure. I think it goes to the belly button. I think they were wrong on that because I already have a belly button hole, and no one ever explains why that's closed and what's behind that now.
So let me.
Doctor understands it. I assure you, no, that's not true. They actually do.
Regarding the digital world, if you had a choice, which world do you think that you want the VR for you?
In the digital world, or is the choice digital or non-digital?
Digital.
In the digital world. Oh.
In the digital world.
Because my choice would be golf. That's possible. Really? Fishing. I'm not. So let me understand the question. Are you asking which metaverse world would I want to be in, or
which metaverse? Yes, exactly. So would you want to be in the Arizona world, or do you want to be in space, galaxy world?
I want freedom to float 1 minute and be on a river the next, right? Like, I want to. I don't want to be committed to any one world. The whole point of the digital world is, I think I'm going to shift my environment. I'm going to be on the beach next 20 minutes, and then I'm going to go crush a nightclub or something. I mean, like I want to be able to just. That's the point. I don't have to get up and move to go do it. Yeah, I need a digital world that exercises me while I sleep. That's the digital world I need.
Yeah.
I wake up and I'm like, I've got abs. This is great.
So thank you again for that. So Thomas, any last words, or how was your journey on Back to Basics before you leave today?
I would say for people that are really, not to be shameless plug, but if you're really struggling with finding a way to get your brand or your person or your opportunities digitally, online, whatever it is, I would just contact me sometime, and I'll at least have a conversation with you about what you're doing and help you focus to get back to some basics of here are the core things you need to do. Focusing on your revenue that you make today and the revenue you'll make tomorrow is a really good statement to say everything else around it. If you're not doing that, don't do it. And I can help some people to do this. So I would say in your podcast, getting back to basics, just any advice I give you is just get to the core thing of what your value proposition is, what you do, and go create content around that and nothing else. And if you do, people who care about that will find you. They will be interested in you. And when you're trying to, be happier in your day in life, you'll simplify what you need to do from the digital standpoint and marketing and other things. And it really will take off a massive amount of time and effort if you just focus on the one thing you do really well and just talk about that in all aspects.
Yeah. Thank you again, Thomas, for being here and supporting me on coming on my podcast there.
Anytime, I would happily support you. I appreciate you, by the way, let me live in your basement. This is great.
Oh yeah, love the basement. Love the basement.
Really awesome. Good. Thank you. Appreciate it. What's for dinner?
We'll let you know as soon as it's ready. We'll do that Back to the Future thing, and we'll put that in the oven, and voila, you got pizza.
I appreciate it. It was really good last night.
Thanks. Take care. Thank you again. So guys, we spoke with Thomas today, and we talked about, basement pizza? No. We talked about the digital world and how the life is changing and how we're just changing and learning all at the same time. Now, as usual, as always, there is a quote of the day from Back to Basics, and hopefully Thomas will like that. And here's the quote. The quote is, as the world becomes more digital place, we cannot forget about the human connection. That is one thing that I want to make sure that we are not losing human connection. That is what Back to Basics is all about. But he did mention 20 years from now, we don't know what the definition Back to Basics is going to be. That is something to ponder and definitely to think about. Now, as usual, as always, everything in life goes back to basics, and that's what we did today, guys. Guys, take care, God bless, and keep on supporting me. Comment as many as you can on all the episodes that I release every day. And there are 3 things in every episode, which is the best. which is the content, the guest, and definitely the host. Guys, take care, God bless, and I will see you next week on Back to Basics Season 2. Take care. Next week's episode on Back to Basics.
A much broader selection of products that we feel comfortable buying without talking to a human. But on the other hand, there's still a huge number of products that as buyers want to be able to talk to a human because they want to make sure that they're on the right track, really. I mean, it's not like buyers can't go out and gather lots of information online about products and companies, and there's user review sites and so on. There's no shortage of information, but oftentimes in a company making a